Good morning, guys. Today something completely different. I'm looking at Armored Warfare to give you a first look at what this game is all about and possibly to help you decide if it's something for you. I've been keeping my eye on this game for a long time, and it's a game that pretty much resembles World of Tanks and makes it better, or at least that's the way I look at it. You have vehicles in World of Tanks that limit themselves up to, say, 1955, 1960-ish. That's where the vehicles from Armored Warfare begin. So, as a Wargame series player, you already know quite a lot of them. For example, take this premium tank, or this premium tank destroyer really, the Jalo. This is something that you will find in a USSR armored or air deck, for example. Take the MBT-70, another US Army unit, which we find in Wargame. The Terminator, BMPT. Very, very dangerous unit in Battlefield, or in Wargame, sorry. Personally, I'm not really too sure how to use this thing here yet, because I'm still looking into the game and figuring out how it works. And as you're looking through the dealers, which basically resemble tech trees here, you can see a ton of units that we know and really love from the series of Wargame. We got, for example, the BMP line, starting with the BMP-1, ending at the BMP-3M, which is definitely an upgraded version. And you can see this is classed as an armored fighting vehicle. It has quite a capable autocannon, probably the capacity to launch ATGMs, but really I haven't gotten that far into the game yet. Over here you can see the Leopard variant, completely with the 1A5 that we know from Wargame, the Leopard 2, the 2A5, and then we're going into a zone where we don't know the tank yet. Or at least where the tank wasn't in Wargame Red Dragon. You can see the Leopard 2A6 and 2A7, the 1A2 that was in Wargame, the M1A1, M1 Abrams. Over to the right we got the Weasel. We even got the VBL here, which is that French recon unit that we can always use to spot and possibly fire Mistrals. Now in this game it doesn't actually fire Mistrals, it's just a really fast recon vehicle. Other units that you may know are the Fox, which is still in Wargame a reconnaissance unit for the British. Let's see, we got the LAV 300, which is, I believe, something that we do have in Wargame as a fire support vehicle. We got, let's see, artillery Akatsi is not something that's in Wargame. We're going to switch to the other tree, which is the other dealer, really. AMX-10P, this is something that we use as a transport. Here is classed as an armored fighting vehicle, comes with an autocannon. If you go down that line further, you can see BMD versions. We can see the Bradley, BMD-4. You can see the Warrior, that British transport, or the British IFV APC that we use. As far as tanks go, we got the West European MBT line here, starting at the Chieftain Mark V, again in Wargame. Same goes for the Challenger 1. The Ariete isn't in Wargame, but it is in here as seemingly a sort of follow-up to the Challenger, although I'm not really sure that's doing it justice. And over here we got the T62, 64, 72, 72A, 80, 90 line. All of these are in Wargame as they are. And of course, they will probably handle completely different from what you're used to when you're playing a game like this compared to Wargame. Because in Wargame you're telling the unit to go top down to do something, and over here it's more of a, I suppose you could call it a driving simulator to some extent, or an arcade driving simulator might be a better term to describe it. As with most of these free-to-plays, you can make it as expensive as you want, and the reason that I'm able to show you this video right now is because I bought a Founders Pack. And that gave me access to the open beta slightly ahead of the game actually going into open beta. Now let's see at some of the vehicles how it works. You can make it as expensive as you like. You have premium tanks over here, and these premium tanks will help you get more credits and XP. You can see that each have a different type. The Abbott is an artillery unit, a self-propelled gun. You can see all sorts of specs on it. The alpha damage, sustained damage, DPM is even registered, and that's something that I think is a major advantage because you know where in the scale of things you can perform. Hit points, defense, armor, mobility, how fast is the unit, utility, targeting, how fast does it take to actually zoom in and get a narrow spread on target. And the same goes for the other units, whether they're premium or standard. Now some of these units have not yet been implemented. For example, Challenger 2. You can see these boxes coming soon, which if you're watching this video, say in a half year's time, may have been introduced into the game. But for now you can just preview the unit and have a look at the unit itself, which I gotta say, for a free-to-play game, looks incredibly good. This is something that World of Tanks can only really dream of. And the specs of this unit, they might be known on the internet, but they're not in-game yet, they're not registered. Now, what do you see once you open the game? You're always going to start in your garage. And up here you can see the amount of premium time that you have, you can see the global chat, you can see the upgrade button. Now the upgrade button is where you can upgrade the vehicle that you currently have selected in your garage. And this garage is down here. These are all the vehicles that I currently have. You can see that a BMP-T Terminator does not need upgrades because it's a premium unit. I cannot upgrade it even if I wanted to. A unit that I am upgrading is the OF-40, which, if you look at it, is a sort of Leopard variant. I'm not entirely sure, but to me it looks like the Leopard 2 hull with a sort of Maxus turret, but I don't know enough about the history of this unit to really give you the details on that. The beauty of this game is, though, that the game itself gives you that history. You can just right-click on a unit, click Details, and go into History. And there you see what kind of information they have on this tank. And they say that this tank was apparently designed in Italy and designed for the export market. But if you look at the way that the tank actually looks, you can see that it was quite heavily inspired by the Leopard 1 design. Anyway, the upgrades will allow you to either get different ammunition types, retrofits as they're called, and I'll cover that later. Engine upgrades, you can see here mobility upgrades, technology, which basically gives you added capabilities like firing smoke grenades, which allows your tank to disappear, improving the view range, and another improve of accuracy. You got also the technology section, and that's where these things fall under, but they also give you retrofit slots. And finally, they give you the proven capacity, which gives you special upgrades that you can deploy not only on this tank, but also on other tanks or vehicles in your garage. And for example, I have the air induction pre-cleaner, which will allow my unit to be faster as far as hull traverse goes and slightly faster acceleration. But until I grind 8100 XP for this unit, and you can spend those pretty much like you would spend credits, I cannot buy it yet. The amount of unspent vehicle reputation you can see up here, which is for me 952. I only really got this unit just now and I have played some games with it. Global reputation is in most games translated as free XP. It's XP that you gain over pretty much all battles and that help you to upgrade your vehicles faster. Of course, you can also get XP on vehicles that you have completely elited, that you have completely researched. And once you've done that, they will start to generate XP on a vehicle. And for the required gold, you can transfer that XP from global reputation into, I believe it's called, let me check. Yeah, sorry, personally I don't know what that's called yet. I believe that is the general free XP. So you can turn, for example, let's see if I have any vehicles. Yeah, take the Jalo for example. The Jalo has done some battles with me, and I believe that I can convert some XP from it. But unlike units, or unlike games like World of Tanks, you don't have the XP window of, you have 60,000 XP grinded on this vehicle, would you like to convert it? No, Armored Warfare just throws it all into one big pile and says, okay, you can convert as much XP as you would like. Now, I already briefly went over the tech trees, and tech trees might not be the right term, but it's the most understandable. It's what gives you the best context of it. And unlike some of the games like World of Tanks, where you have a specific nation, we're dealing with dealers here, and that allows the gameplay developers or the game developers to throw in all sorts of different units without sticking to one single tech tree or one nation. You can see, for example, that the M60 is in here, the Starships in here, the XM1, the Abrams. This is pretty much a base US line. But if you're looking at other units, like the Recon Vehicle tab here, I got the XM800T, which is an American unit. Then you can upgrade to the Swingfire, which is a British unit. You can then continue on to the Fox, which is another British unit. Afterwards you get the VBL, which is a French unit. So they're not sticking to one specific tree or one specific nation, but they are capable of throwing in all sorts of different units into the same category and posting them as a sort of upgrade. Now if you compare this to, for example, World of Warships at the moment, even in its, I suppose you could say, semi-open beta, because until Thursday 8th of October that is, you still have to buy access. But until then, there are still more vehicles in this game than there are in World of Warships. And personally, lately I haven't been playing that much World of Warships, mostly because I know it's a big money sink for me, and World of Warships, as well as World of Tanks, has gotten quite money grabby as far as I'm concerned, building really big packages in the premium shop for combinations that you might not even want. So I'm not going to say I'm going to punish wargaming, because I just cannot do that, but I can at least, well, vote with my feet, as they put it, and just play something else. Anyway, back to the dealers. This dealer, the second one currently, but they can add as many as they like with all different tech trees in here. These seem to be more based around direct action. I'm not sure that is the accurate description, but their tanks seem to be more brawly. And you can see that, for example, with the East European MBTs, you can unlock this tree not simply by grinding out the previous unit, but you have to accomplish a sort of objective. You have to have damage done with your vehicle's health being greater than 50%. Fire support vehicles require you to deal damage to enemy armored fighting vehicles. So I just cannot keep grinding with the M41 and hope to unlock this. I need to actually start hunting down AFVs. Same goes for a high caliber light armor, which is basically light tanks. I need to be really brawly with my units, and for example the T-54 might be a good unit to do that, because it's quite a sturdy tank. And if I do a lot of damage within 150 meters, I can actually unlock this tech tree. Artillery is a bit easier. You just need to get 50 battles done with a specific nation, or with a specific unit from a tech tree. But the interesting thing is here that you can unlock this by playing premium vehicles. It just says fight 50 battles with Marat Shishkin's vehicles, and that's the guy who runs this tech tree, the dealer. So I can just play, say, 50 games with my Jalo and get it done. And then I have my tactical artillery unlocked. Possibly along with others, like the European MBTs, by simply doing more damage, etc. Anyway, about the tech trees or the dealers, I think this is a really interesting model, because it allows them to put all sorts of different units in the game. And if they have a specific unit from a nation that they may not have a full tech tree for, let's say they want to put in the STRV line for the Swedish tanks, they don't have to create a Swedish tank line, but they can just say, well, okay, this dealer is now selling this specific tank, and we're going to place it in that category. Moving on, we got the Battle PvP and PvE mode. PvE generally gives you slightly less rewards than PvP, and you're playing against bots in this mode. But it's a really nice way to actually break a losing streak or have some fun with friends when you're not wanting to play too seriously. PvP is standard, it's a 15 versus 15. Currently matchmaking can take a while depending on the vehicle and tier that you take. For me especially, artillery has taken quite a long while to actually get a game for, because this game is pretty strict at the amount of artillery that's in a game, and per match they want to have the same number of artillery on each team. The base is another thing that I think was heavily influenced by Obsidian. And Obsidian, of course, being known for its RPGs, its role-playing games, have pretty much created this element to give you a sort of feeling of reward. That sounds really vague, I'm sorry for that, but I'm gonna explain all that right now. This, as you can see, is my base, and I have a couple of buildings here. Got an airport, barracks, command center, garage, helipad, and recon post. I can still build an academy. And to do that I need building materials. These things cost 100 each, and some of them are more expensive. You can see the amount of raw materials I have up there on the right, and once per day you get 100 new. So I'm going to click collect materials, and now I have 300. Now you may say, yeah, it's a pretty picture, but what does it do? Well, each of these buildings gives you an advantage. For example, the airport. This currently gives me 2% discount on equipment cost. And if I hit upgrade now, I'm going to expend 200 points of base materials. The upgrade is going to take 10 minutes and I'm going to get a bigger discount. The barracks is going towards my crew XP earned. And again, for only 100 credits or 100 base raw materials, I can upgrade that and get more crew XP. Command center, it gives me more free XP, and this is what I was saving up for. Because the more free XP I have, the faster I can go through the tech trees without having to spend gold. So this is the building I was saving up for. I'm going to upgrade it right now, and it's going to take 50 minutes. That's 50 minutes real time. So you click upgrade, and you can see it's currently upgrading. The garage will lower your repair costs. Now, for me, I'm only playing at tier 4 currently, and some of the tier 6 vehicles are premium, so they don't really need to get that repair discount. I don't really need upgrades on this thing just yet. Helipad will earn me more currency, which is basically more credits. And you can see that they parked some Chinooks on the helipads here. Recon post gives me slight discounts to premium time. And once you start upgrading this, the game actually becomes cheaper if you want to spend money at it. Finally, we got the Academy here, which gives me more Commander XP. I probably should have invested in this. People who are experienced at the game may be cursing me for not doing it. Sorry guys, I'm only just getting into this game, so you can probably see me make all sorts of mistakes. And then they have all sorts of coming soon buildings. You can see that there's quite a bit of terrain left still on the base. And my guess is that these buildings are just being developed right now. The dossier, currently it's a bit painful because I'm still learning the game and my win rate's only 44%. I was used to slightly slower conflict in World of Tanks, and this one's actually pretty fast. It's not first-person shooter-like, it's not Counter-Strike, but it is definitely fast. And the dossier basically gives you all sorts of overview over what your stats are, what kind of vehicles you've placed most, battle per tier, etc. You can go through that PvP, PvE, specific vehicles, and see what your win rate are with those vehicles. For example, the Gvostika artillery unit for me is pretty effective up to this stage. I have 57% win rate, but I've only played 7 games, so it's really hard to base good statistics off of that. And finally, achievements. These could be compared to medals. I don't really aim for these, but they do give you rewards. And for example, the reward for collecting iron stars. And personally, I wouldn't know how to get one. Let's see. Iron stars. You would expect those to be in here somewhere. Complete it, maybe. Silver founder. See, this is stuff that for me is still like, okay, where do I find that? But anyway, going for these, and this is something that you can either go for specifically, or you can just play the game and watch them come in as you're playing really well. They give you currency bonuses. This one's a big currency bonus. Collect 10 gold medal awards. Extreme accuracy. Another 10,000 there. 10,000, 10,000, and 10,000. And you can see that with PvE you can actually also get some achievements. Now the final button up here is Battalion, which is basically a platoon. Sorry, a battalion is not a platoon. A battalion, I believe, is what they call a clan. And you can either get a clan for 320 credits or 320 gold or 4 million credits. So they are actually, unlike some games, giving you the opportunity to get this system or to get a battalion up and running by paying in-game credits instead of paying silver or real money. Other stuff, the small buttons here is a friends list. We have a chat window, which is the global chat, and of course you can also start chatting with friends. And then there's the notifications. Quite a few tabs here again. Let me just close that battalion button. Notifications, I collected raw materials, those are ready for collection. Social, nothing going on. Achievements, currency, vehicles, ammunition and equipment, commanders and crew, and base updates. So pretty much all that you would normally see in World of Tanks on the bottom right hand, and you can still see them there, but this is a really nice and compact window where you can see all of this stuff together. Now I'm not going to show you gameplay in this video, I just wanted to give you an introduction into the game itself, into the garage. What can you see, what can you expect? The gameplay videos will be up soon, and with that I'm going to be actually showing you some of the gameplay, some of the way that the vehicles react, and probably how terrible I am at the game in its current stage, but so be it. Anyway, up till Thursday 8th of October that is, you can buy a Founders Pack and start playing right away. If you don't want to spend money on the Founders Packs yet, you can always decide to just wait it out and get into the open beta Thursday, where you don't have to pay anything. So the choice is yours. Personally, I first bought a small Founders Pack, which was 14 euros, so say about 20 bucks and maybe 10 pounds. To just see what it's like, and usually when I like a game, especially one of these types, I get sucked into it and I start to dish out a ton of cash. So that's what I did here, and that's why I have all of these premium vehicles. Some of them you can still buy from the in-game store later, like the MBT-70. I believe that's in Wolfley Street. You can see it here. It's a premium vehicle that's just available for money or for gold in-game. But the BMPT Terminator will not be available. So if you think I want to have a look at this badass, I would recommend watching some YouTube videos to see how it plays. Get the first armored package or the first Founders package and see if you like this unit, and only then go for actually spending money on it. If you do decide to spend money and you buy one of the Founders Packs, you can always upgrade them. And that's something that I really like about the way that Armored Warfare is going about their own money-making business. They don't tell you to get a Founders Pack and then you get another Founders Pack. And for me, in euros, the base Founders Pack is 15 euros or 14. And the most expensive was, I think, 60 or 60-ish. You don't have to pay 15 first and then 60. You have to pay 15 and then, I think it was something like 51, so 65 total. You have to pay 51 and you get the upgrade to the Advanced Founders Pack. So that's something to keep in mind. Considering that I didn't discuss one thing, we're going to go over that quickly. The Retrofit system. This is basically the equipment for your tank or your vehicle, because not all of these are tanks, of course. And you have all sorts of different upgrades that you don't get for free, both in the amount of credits that they cost. You can see I have 208,250 to spend on getting this upgrade, but the magnetic actuator, for example, isn't even unlocked yet. And I need to play the M109 Paladin, the Palmaria, or the M109A6 Paladin in order to even get this upgrade. So those are the retrofits, and they will help you with all sorts of different elements for your tank. But right now I'm not experienced enough at the game to really see or explain how these work, which you should get for which vehicle, and again, that's not really the aim for this video. So let me know what you think about Armored Warfare. If there's something that you missed in my description or my explanation of the garage, let me know and I'll add it into the description. If there's any specific questions that you have about the game, let me know and I'll try to answer them. And of course there will be gameplay up soon with the vehicles that we know and love from the Wargame series, but this time on pretty much a 1v1 or 15 versus 15 basis. Because now you're not commanding a whole army of them, you're just commanding one. Anyway, hope you liked this video. If you did, hit like. If you want to see more of the game, subscribe to my channel because I'll be doing a bit more of this. And don't worry, I won't drop Wargame completely, but I might be migrating into this game slightly. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next video.